Okay, so this is going to be how to come up with infinite ideas for solos. And you're going to see this is actually a super duper simple approach. What it is we're actually going to figure out how to take one musical idea and create infinite variations for that idea. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off with this super duper simple 3-note musical idea. It goes like this. All right, and now let's go ahead and put this on the fretboard diagram so you can see. So we're going to have G, A, and then a C note here, okay? So super duper simple, right? Only 3 notes. That's not very complicated at all. But now step 1 for us to basically just start changing into a bunch of different things is we're going to practice changing just the last note. So that C note there, instead of that C, we can change it to any other note in the key that works with this pattern. So we're actually going to be in the key of C major. We're not going to go over all that stuff right now, but instead of C, we could make it a D, or an E, or G, or any of the other notes that we have available to us on the fretboard. So like this. So instead of C, we could have D here, or E. Or we could go down, right? Now we're actually kind of changing the direction that the musical line moves. So we're always playing G, then A, and then we're just picking any other note. Could be any of these notes. There's notes all over the guitar that will work in the key of C. You just got to kind of know where they are. And if you don't know where they are, make sure you get my free PDF, How to Memorize All the Notes on the Guitar Fretboard. So let's hear what that sounds like over a backing track and how it works in actual music. So as you can see there's already kind of a lot of things that you can do with that. Really, if there's 20 different notes that you can change to for the last note, well, you just technically came up with 20 different ideas, right? Anytime we literally change anything about one of our musical ideas, well, now it's technically a new thing, right? So now that we've gotten used to that, changing the last note in the solo, and there I was also kind of just indiscriminately using any note I wanted to in the key without really regard for the chords underneath. That's a separate topic in and of itself. But now that we've done that, the second thing we can do is change the rhythm. And arguably, I'd say that this is a little bit more important. I was changing the rhythm a little bit there, but there's a lot more different things that we can do. We can repeat some of the notes when we change the rhythm. We can play it fast. We can play it slow. We can play quarter notes. We can play eighth notes. We can play 16th notes. We could turn them into triplets. So let's see what it sounds like if we combine those two ideas together. We can both change the last note and we can change the rhythm of the idea. And let's see how far we can stretch it away from our starting point. So you can see there, triplets, repeating notes. There was a couple times I didn't perfectly stick to the rules that we established, but that's okay, because actually, when you don't perfectly stick to the rules you established, when you're doing these little I like to call them improv games. They're kind of like exercises, but to me, it's more like a game. A game like, can I change how many notes can I find to change the last note to, or how many different rhythms can I come up with? It's a game. But anytime you kind of mess up the game, well, you just create a different version of the idea. So it's only going to result in good things when you're kind of thinking in this mindset. And to me, it's more of a mindset than anything. Okay, and finally, the last thing, well, this is not the last thing. We could do so many different things. I could sit here for an hour talking about this stuff. But the last thing we're going to cover in this video is changing the order of the notes. So if we just change those three things, the last note in the idea, the rhythm, and the order of the notes, oh boy, you're going to see how many different ideas we can come up with just from that one starting point of that G to A to C. It's really, really incredible. So let's check that out. Now I can change the order of the notes on top of the rhythm and the last note in the idea. I can even take one of the notes out. Okay, cool. So I hope that helped. It's really, really, really not as complicated as you think to come up with cool ideas for soloing. Most beginners feel like they need to come up with all these different things, but really that's not the reality of it. You just need to learn how to come up with one simple thing and create a bunch of different versions of that thing, and you are going to be kicking some serious butt in your solos.